Oh, 241 kilos of blue marlin madness. What a catch this is and what a fishing report this is going to be. Let's get stuck straight into this week's Boss Outdoor Fishing Report. So just when we thought the game fishing was coming to the end of the season and there wasn't as many marlin around, 241 kilos of blue marlin. What a great fish that is. Dom and the boys from the shop, Jamari and Sonny, headed out of Burmie today, and they went out chasing a sword, and the sword fishing was a bit slow, so they've gone out chasing some blue marlin. They've had the gear in, so towing big lures around for about half an hour, and they've had a double hook up on big blue marlin. Two big blue marlin come up and hit two lures pretty much at the same time. They've both just come straight at their little 4.2 metre renegade. They've crossed over and stuff, and one's come off. So the bigger one, would you believe, the two popped off. And they've had a massive fight with that 241 kilo fish and got it in and brought it in. What a great catch that is, and well done, boys. So if you want to catch one of these blue marlin while they're around, they love that warmer water. They're catching this fish in 24 degrees, out a bit wider than you would normally go marlin fishing. So find that warmer water, get some bigger lures out, and just cruise up and down, towing them around. It can be terribly boring, or it can be absolute chaos when you come up trumps like they did today. Well, we keep saying how good a time of year it is at the moment, and it doesn't disappoint again this week. Have a look at those catches of some snapper. We've seen some stonking snapper for the south coast. We know Marimbula's not renowned for big snapper, but they're getting bigger, I think. We're seeing plenty of fish up into that 60 and 70 centimetre range, which May is the time for snapper fishing, so it should only improve over this next couple of weeks and into May. So we're going to see some great catches. There's been some good mowong around as well, so as it gets a little bit later in the day and you drift out a little bit deeper, you're going to get some good mowies, heaps of nannies around too. What a great time of year it is for the reef fishermen. And while you're out there reef fishing or flatty bashing, if you're out in that 20 or 30 or 40 metres of water, it is worth putting a livey or a dead bait under a balloon at the back of the boat. There's heaps of sharks around. We've seen some great catches. Stella, what a great story that is. Stella's out there fishing with a family and she's got this hammerhead shark. She was so stoked about it too. What a great fish. They also got a mako as well, or didn't quite get it, but there was a mako hanging around that had it hooked for a while, and heaps of other reports of makos. Isn't it exciting catching makos? They'll hit the surface and do backflips, and just such a great fish to watch after you've caught it. So yeah, definitely worth having that extra bait out for a shark. Some mixed reports on flathead fishing this week. If you've got that honey hole that you go to and they're there all the time, you're still going to catch fish. If you're just wandering around, dropping here and there, there's plenty of places that'll miss and there's plenty of places that'll hit. So just keep trying different depths. We have heard of people going out to 65 metres to get them, but you probably don't have to. If you try your different spots in 40 metres before you go a little bit wide, I reckon. It's always nice to not have to wheel them as far. Again, keep those shark rigs out there. You'll come up trumps with a few sharks. So keep in mind the long-tailed tuna. The window is so short. We get about 3 or 4 weeks of having the chance of catching a long-tailed tuna at Marimbula. The water's here, it's nice, there's plenty of fish around. Well, plenty of fish around. You've got to be super lucky to catch one of these fish, but if you get yourself a livey in the water and keep it there for long enough, fingers crossed, they swim past and you come up tight with a long-tailed tuna. Well, isn't it a great time of year to be a wharf fisherman? The clear water, there's plenty of bait. You look under the wharf at the moment and there's just alive with bait fish. So every now and again those kingies are going to come through and you're just going to be fishing for salmon or bonito, and there's still plenty of them. But if you get lucky and you can come up tight with a king as they're coming past, they have been some good size ones around too. So coming up to over that metre mark if you're really lucky, and what a great fish that is off a wharf. But yeah, still plenty of bonnies, plenty of salmon, and at night time there's been heaps of sharks. So if you want to come out here at night time and fish for a shark, the bronzies have been really big and pretty keen to get onto them too, so it's a bit of fun. And then the tailor too, heaps of tailor around as well at night time if you want to just chuck a bait under a float. And then if you get here in the early hours or the later hours when the low light conditions and fish off the corner of this wharf, there is heaps of squid. There's been so many squid around. The beach fishing is still exceptional on the south coast. So whether you're chasing dewies either at Eden or at Tathra, or you're fishing just off the Marimbula, chuck a worm off Marimbula Beach, come up trumps with a good feed of whiting or bream. It doesn't get much tastier off the beach. They're all nice clean fish and delicious on the table. So yeah, still some good dews around. We've seen some dewies again off Eden and off Tathra. So if you want to go and time that tide right and get it on the change of tide and chuck a big bait out, or chuck those big lures off the beach, they are really a fish of 1,000 casts, but when you land one, they are absolutely beauties and a fish of a lifetime. You'll have it on your wall forever. The salmon fishing just never seems to disappoint on the south coast at the moment, does it? For the last few years, the salmon fishing has just been absolutely ridiculous. My tip for salmon fishing at the moment is go to a headland, have a look over the beaches, see where that big black school of salmon is going up and down. Go to that point and chuck out. You're going to catch a fish every single cast. If you can't see that, it's still worth fishing, like you'll go and catch fish, but if you can find that big black school of fish that move up and down the beach, it is a fish a cast. Well, the estuary fishing is definitely moving into its winter stage a bit more. The water's cooling down. It's not quite as mad as it was, and the salmon are starting to move in. So we're getting the salmon come from on the beaches in through the mouths of these systems and up into the estuaries and then coming back out. So they're not set in one spot, so they don't just stay in the estuary at this time of year. They come in and out of the system. So if you can get yourself fishing close to the mouth, you'll get them going past. Not that they don't go, they'll go all the way up into the top lake, so you'll still get them up there as well, but they're coming in and out, so definitely the mouths of the systems are well worth fishing at this time of year. If you can get into some structure or just some boats hanging around or whatever, and burley up and float some baits back still, you're still going to come up with bream and trevally, and they've still been pretty good. The flatties have slowed down a little bit. I think the cooler water, there's still been some good ones around. The Malakuta, there was a big 85 centimetre one caught down there the other day. The Bega River still had a few, but definitely not what you see in the middle of summer where they're biting off their heads. They're a bit slower, but still worth a shot. Well, if you're thinking trout fishing at this time of year, you definitely should get up there. Buddha's just been up, had a really good weekend up there with the family and caught a heap of rainbows. We've had some really good reports of people fishing just the mouths of the rivers really. So if you want to get into the mouth of the Yukonbean or the mouth of the Thredbo River, all those fish are coming to congregate around there before they head upstream. So they're just waiting for a bit of rain to head upstream on the spawn run. But yeah, if you can get them while they're all congregated around in that tighter area, there's way more fish, not as much water, and a great time of year to chase them. Well, if you're looking for some trout gear, have a look at this. We've got about 1 million flies here and a heap of spinners for the trout season. So if there's anything else we can help you with, whether it's fishing, camping, anything outdoor related, come into Boss Outdoors so we can hook you up.